I get it started, I think. Let's see. So I can put on the tripod. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Then I end up holding it the whole time. Right, I have a tripod. I should be able to turn it, actually, now that I think about it. Wait a second. Okay. Oh, what now it's going crazy in my left ear. So these people with the in mind technology, I may have to take that out of my ear. Steal your products that you buy. I've bought now 4 sets of earbuds. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And every single one of them immediately has a problem. And believe it or not, it's my sister, they say, Sheppard. So I have to say her name because it needs to be investigated. Because it's just happening again right now on the air. And they just mentioned her name right now, live on the wire. So we'll find out if that's the truth. But my family utilizes the In Your Mind technology. And remote viewing is something they've recently, from what I understand, have had access to. Let's see if that does anything. All right. My gosh. So, I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me. I have this one in that isn't. Now, it was the right ear that was originally making this high-pitched sound. But what I wanted to go live about, I never know until I go live. I mean, every time I go to plan something of what to say, I literally have people talk 24/7. I mean, I don't know. How do you pre-plan something when you literally, I mean, I had court today. I was hoping to go live and talk about. But being that the entire time I logged in, from what I understand, about an hour early. It wasn't until 10, just like last time, the time difference. I was on there at 9 because I was hoping, I didn't know if I had time I was supposed to have for my attorney or not. I was unsure how it all worked. I just made sure that I was there plenty of time early. And, someday they'll have, the actual time zone issue, like across the board at the same time. I mean, they've still determined that that's a waste of time and how many people die because of it. So why they continue that BS. All right, so whoever has a say, that's what we'd like to know. Who has a say? I'd really like you to change some stuff. I think everyone would. All right, so, okay, so you buy products, gift cards, you rent a place. Oh, that's where we're at too. Okay, so I have an eviction notice that I now gonna have to have dealt with. I rented an Airbnb, which the government's gonna have to prove that that person actually owns the property. They're claiming he's a Latter-day Saint, and that I literally am gonna be dealing with this lawsuit with the Latter-day Saints, taking over properties, claiming that they're theirs, that they're printing documentation, falsifying evidence, because I know for a fact that my own property and what's mine, I did not give permission for a Temple Mormon to steal all my money, my property, my assets, and give me and my children nothing. No, I did not. So if you think that the world wants to sit here and now be concerned that if you can't prove, first thing, where'd the taxes go? Because it will be an investigation. That's what they've done my whole life for 48 years. They've made me make sure and ensure that the properties have property taxes paid, that you have to do fleet sales on the vehicles. And now, because of what happened to me with my mom passing away and not having probate, not having a will registry, making it so I am in trouble and a misdemeanor charge that I have to deal with, not until July, thank goodness, enough time to hopefully fix something in the system. Because I did attempt to get a temporary tag, but I couldn't prove it was mine without a testamentary. I was forced to continue driving it, which should be illegal for these storage units and places that think they're creating protection by making it where I couldn't park it. I already was paying almost $200 a month for a parking, or actually a unit, that I could have paid to park it. But I couldn't, because I couldn't prove it was mine yet. I had the title. I was given the title. My brother dropped off the title. But it's my testimony that my brother, William Sheppard Jr., did not ever give me an actual copy, a hard copy, of my mother, Ina, who passed away, and me as beneficiary, having documentations that apparently weren't properly signed, according to the state of Florida, because I couldn't do anything with it in Florida yet either. So I literally am paying to park it, paying $250 or something a month. And last time was even more than that, just for insurance, so it can be parked. 100 something, at least right now. Who knows what, these storage units, without figuring out this mess, they can up the charge. You put your stuff in there, and the next thing you know, it's at $200, and you're like, what? Okay, so it's a matter of fixing the system, figuring out how to deal with this. Because all you ever hear about, at least for me, my story has been, since 2019, is people saying new ownership. They just say that they have a new ownership. Can you imagine? There's just somebody just comes right in. New ownership. Oh, we have a new computer system. You have to pay twice as much. No, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So when I got a call, I believe it was from my daughter, about the storage unit, I'm like, well, it's all yours. Whatever you guys want to do. I mean, at least I know that it's being paid for and you don't have to worry about it. But the fear that she's being hurt over stuff that I know my children would not want to be raped, tortured, or murdered, or whatever's emotionally hurting them. And I don't believe, no, I do not believe that it's me. I believe that me as a parent, knowing what I know, has the right to have the United States government protect my children. I paid someone who used to be CIA, who said he had an FBI team. The money was supposed to go. I gave him a deposit of $1,500. And then in the system, $1,500 is a lot of money. And they claim that they were giving him money. But I keep not having a proof of all of this data. So if you're going to continue scripting, and I know it's my brother, and that's the shame of it, knowing that I've spent my life knowing that the Latter-day Saints have a spy network. They use it to demean, bully, harass, and humiliate, to emotionally rape. They cause people to emotionally die. If you don't do what they say, they tormented my mother, who was a temple Mormon who worked for the prophet. All it takes is one woman who thinks you're better than everybody else. You human traffic me. And to think that because you wear white underwear, you had protection. My mother was a Latter-day Saint. She died as the good last saint, in my opinion, and my script line. Because the current suicide pact and blood oath that you have, I want nothing to do with you. You understand that since my mother died, you guys have been holding me hostage. You are an emotional rapist, and this is not okay. But to threaten and keep threatening me. The United States government has to do something. This is terrorism. You are now have to be scripted as terrorists. This is terrorism. It's my testimony that you are terrorists. To spend the entire time during court today talking and bragging about what horrible people you are. Why any celebrity would want to pretend to be a Latter-day Saint is beyond me. I mean, that is insane as it is. They're killers. They're murderers. And it's right in the videos talking about sticking animals inside of bellies. Listen to Imagine Dragons, a beast in the belly. Look at Brandon Flowers. Look at the body up in the air. The soul suck ya. The reason why I like their bands is because they talk about what's happening. But to know I got held hostage. My tongue cut. Call me a snake. I'm speaking the truth and facts. But to know my brother, William Sheppard Jr., continues to wear me and take my breath away. He says virtually right now he's on my property, or he's using equipment to wear me. That's the wording. But to know I got taken from a $6,000 from a psychic in Melbourne, that now I definitely have to continue fighting over one thing after another because she has the same similar equipment from what I understand. Now, I'm not on any government assistance. So your guys' game that you're going to steal my money isn't going to happen. I do not believe that people want other people to steal their money. Now, the paperwork showed $2,200. You took $2,500 on Zelle, $800 in cash. That's more than the agreement in writing. Then now you ruin my credit card. And you refuse to reverse the charges? Yeah, I am really getting frustrated because I can't rent a car because I have all this, but I have nothing. While the banks continue to be fraudulent. I mean, if this story is so outrageous, if somebody doesn't do something, this is the craziest thing. Then you got yourself a bunch of medical professionals that are fake then. Because there's no ward of the state in the state of Colorado. And you use my eyes for a mind game. Then you let me be raped, tortured, and almost murdered. Because you know that this is a murder investigation. They attempted to murder me. And it's on the record. You understand that faking for film, mental hospitals, are a hospital where they use in-your-mind technology to play a mind game on people needs to end. You wanted me to script and tell you what's happening. Believe me, don't believe me, doesn't matter, does it? Or does it? If your kids could be dead next. Hi, Susan. Hi, Angels Asylum. Hello. I caught you live finally. Hello. Yeah, and me talking long enough. Would you like to ask any questions? I don't know what to even say right now. Like, I'm so in shock with what's happening. It's just beyond. I literally was just resting, like trying to cope with the heat and the stress of it all after court today. They postponed about my car, about the registration of having my mom pass away and me not be able to ensure them about all of these things you have been going through. Well, that's good. I appreciate that, Angels. I've been following you for a little while now. Thank you. It does seem a bit, no kidding. That's why for 48 years I've stayed silent, and now it'll be my biggest regret if my children are dead. Thank you. It was hard watching my mother as a Temple Mormon be gaslit, and knowing that they use technology, knowing that my family is involved with this technology. But the fact that after my mom's death, my brother, somebody had never shared about me knowing and utilizing this technology. Yeah, he threatened to give me a diagnosis. And he's not a medical professional, but I understand he pretends to be one. He also pretends to be a soldier. wear somebody else's uniform, but they don't stop people when they do it for pretend. Apparently, they are good pretenders. That's what they're claiming. Not the cop pulling you over. Yeah, that's what it was over today, which, yeah, is the cop that pulled me over. Yeah, my brother's doing some crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, and I'm so shocked by it all. And that's really the reason why it's all starting to go live about it all, is he started threatening my life. I mean, and I can hear his voice. I know it's his voice. He's saying there's a law of extinction, that he has a blood oath. They're playing audio of me listening to him talk about him raping his own children. He's demanding money for being a rapist, a pedophile. I know it's all shocking. It's completely shocking. I mean, to know that he has a grandchild. He just said just a few minutes ago how he raped River, his grandbaby. I'm like, this is crazy to make me listen to, and I know it's him. Like, I hear the voice. This is sick. It's just to force someone to listen to people's voices and screaming, and people screaming. This got to be illegal. Like they must stop this. Yeah, because they're pretending like what's the story about them splitting my tongue? Okay, so it was in the 70s. So originally, what happened was, is I had a brain injury, which now that I'm exposing the truth, I hadn't talked to anybody about all this stuff, but since you're asking, and I am documenting it as my documentary. It originally started where I have a cut across the back of my head from a gardening hoe, from this end to this end, and right across right here in the third eye, and then right here. And so I was in a hospital where they utilized technology to make it where I had a team of experts, a part of an experiment. I was told that it was a part of a Central Intelligence Agency experiment, which I believe, if you look up the movie MK Ultra, that it seems similar, my story, to some of the stuff with that. All I know is it made me be able to have capabilities of understanding things at a very young age, that I can still remember exactly those memories. Yeah, from a gardening hoe. And so I got brought back to life, is my feeling, my story of it. And I was in a hospital, and then I remember having it's a Halloween in the late 70s, a Halloween party somewhere up in the mountains, and there was some kind of game that people were playing. But the strange things were, well, strange about it was the way I originally remembered it. And I don't know, that's the problem about false memories too, is that they can rechange your memories to want it to be that it's something else too. So it's kind of hard, because right now I remembered at the time the bunch of celebrities' faces that I could remember at that time. But whether that's true or not, I don't know. I mean, I was in kindergarten. I mean, I was really young, but it's still what memories they put in your mind to remember. But what I do remember is that, being that there was Latter-day Saints there, and being that since then there's a specific leader with the Latter-day Saints that is supposedly these people who have been utilizing, and they show it on a music video, and that is not an LDS person that made that video. I think it's Fun. The band Fun has a video where they put this thing in your mouth and it cuts. I believe that might be the device. And they showed on just an Eminem video that just came out, a little baby with the tongue cut. So it's definitely a part of these cults with other cults mixed in. But I do know that my tongue was cut and I was held hostage, and it was cut into a snake. Okay, so it's cut completely in half and into a snake form. And they have technology that can have you go back in time for your memories. And that's what the hardest part is. You can see through remote viewing, where when you dream in color, you dream like a picture. It's technology of what I call IT technology, because they're like, you're it. I was tagged as it. It's just, you're it. And then I could go in front of any TV in the 70s and talk back and forth to celebrities, to anybody. And also because my money, with this experiment or whatever they're calling it, augmented reality, paid for people. So I had people thank me for houses and cars and all kinds, and I had never even shared this with my own children. So, I mean, I just know that if it wasn't for celebrities and listening to music and knowing that there's other people who have technology, but knowing that I've utilized earbuds and I've utilized technology to hide the fact that because I had a stepfather that I believe knew that I had people in my mind, people watching. He used to work at an actual mental hospital. Whether I was there and they cleared my mind, I don't know. But he did know that I had access to money. He gave me a rock from the moon, from Hercules. I was told that that my money helped pay for aerospace. Yeah. So I've had money invested in all kinds of things my whole life, and now that my mom's dead, I'm demanding my money, my properties, my assets, so that way I can change everything. And to know that I'm still, and probably will obviously continue, but knowing that that's what's happening. They're impersonating me and my children. I listen to them do it, but to know that I've had identity fraud my whole life. Yeah, I mean, my whole life. These are people who, I mean, they like to pretend if it's going to get them whatever. And I don't know, but I know that they call themselves proxies. And I can't tell whether some of them and who exactly they are until I hear their voice and then I match it up. But to know that they would be on my properties, destroying property, instead of knowing that they could be a part of having housing and nice places to live, especially our government. I mean, for the first time in history, we'd actually have military that has money. And you think about a statue. One statue has 250 tons worth of gold. One statue. Just one. And there's 350 of them. That's a lot of money. And apparently worth killing for. Is they're threatening to kill me since my mom died, who worked for the profit downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. And I know they run this spy network, and being that Social Security Administration is corrupt. There's no reason to keep people in poverty. There's no reason why not to give me my money, so that, well, as of this morning, well, a few hours ago, they scripted that they were going to do $11,111.11 as a stimulus back from the IRS for keeping my money for all these investigations that they continue to pretend that the United States government wants to investigate. It's my augmented reality is what they're claiming. So therefore, they just need to have the IRS start giving money back out, because I can't give my children anything otherwise. I can't seem to protect my children otherwise. And if I can't prove anything to be real. Because if you think only Temple Mormons should have all the money, I don't think so. Because my mom died and I am the beneficiary at the bank that supposedly my mother felt like was the bank that was responsible for money that would go through to help the Latter-day Saint Church to stay out of bankruptcy. Currently, with the amount of money they owe for abuse cases, just with the Boy Scouts, we found the United States government, IRS did, found $100 billion in slush fund money that I know was tied to my money. I mean, I have money that I'm owed. That's a pretty good reason. Oh, they use my genetics, part of this experiment. So I helped my sister with rheumatic fever. I was told with chicken pox, but also hospital, UCH Health in Colorado, used my genetics to create a cancer cure. I was told by a Latter-day Saint that came to my house, who I believe was a great guy. I mean, everybody up until my mom dying, I believe they were the people who kept the order. They had infiltrated, they've been a part of managing our government my whole life. But now that I'm on the other end of the spectrum, I'm now the person that's a target on my back. They want me dead for telling the truth of how it really works. That's what's really happening. I'm exposing the truth after 48 years. Oh, you need reparations. I don't know that word. I'd have to Google. Reparations. I just know that with this technology, people read in your mind, and the person who does the reading on the network, from what I understand, is someone who didn't graduate high school, doesn't care about facts. In fact, this person who reads it wrong. In fact, on YouTube now, what comes up are not what the words are of what's in the music. They literally are corrupting the entire system since my mom passed away, and they brag that that's what they're doing full time, is ruining equipment, making it so that way anything and everything that made it easier for everyone, to make it where anyone could have any abilities. The goal, they claim, is that Latter-day Saints currently, they have the blood oath and the suicide pact. They fake suicide for a mind game, but I know other people are into it too. I personally have sworn under oath over and over, I would never kill myself. It would be murder. Yeah, no, I'm not in that game. And I know that my children have had the mind game played on them, but again, I can't prove that. But I do know we need to do something to save ourselves and our children from this sick game, of being held hostage. I mean, I stopped by a store in Georgia, Broken Arrow. And I don't know if that video, I'm gonna have to look to see if it got uploaded. I went in Broken Arrow and I attempted to let them know I had been held hostage. I didn't go into all the details about how, like, this technology, having someone's voice that you can recognize, threatening to kill you. My brother keeps saying, I want you dead. I've wanted you dead my whole life. Why aren't you dead yet? And I can hear it's William Sheppard Jr. I can hear it's my brother. But knowing that he was able to, in Utah, create a protection order, I think that he thinks that's a gag order, but I don't know what he thinks. That's the script you're saying. Because I've got to speak. I mean, after 48 years, it doesn't matter what he thinks. I have to share what's happening. The only thing I can do is document what's happening and just say what's happening, truth and facts. Because that's what happened with me with my tongue at a young age, around age 6, about that. Was that I told the truth and I wanted to be factual. And that's the character I lived in. No, so he's only been talking to me through my mind. I've had very little ever conversations with my brother over a phone. Did you see that lightning? No, I've rarely ever in my entire life talked to my brother by phone. Very few times, and when I have, it's usually been a supporting character. Somebody like I was a good listener and supporting him with whatever I could support him in. My life story, I never got him involved. In fact, I've really not gotten a whole lot of people involved in the details of my life story. there's very little that anyone could say they know about me. I have kept pretty good secrets for my entire life that my own children wouldn't even know. I've never exposed a lot of this. This is new because I have to, because they want to kill me. That's such a cool picture. So like subliminal. Yeah, so what he's doing is, I don't know, I don't understand the equipment, but it's called wearing you. It's somehow where he's able to like shock me, like a shock therapy almost. And the claim is that he has somebody using a car battery, and what they're claiming is that he's using these LDS Temple Mormons, supposedly based on the script they're saying, is using these prodders and these like those zapper things to take people out. I sent my daughters to protect them, but then now supposedly tasers. Supposedly they're attaching people to equipment, beating them up, abusing them attached, because my brother has a theory, and I heard his voice say it, that he wants to virtually kill me, and he's on my property, or he's using equipment because he believes he can virtually kill me. That's what I've heard. Like a raise. Message retracted. Understand you need to share your story, your mess. Yeah, and the hardest thing is how you even came across me, because like it's crazy to know that I paid all this money for all this advertising. Oh, like a taser, yeah. And to not have it where I get people to communicate, like it shows 3 people watching, 1 like. It's now 30 minutes in, 32 minutes in. I mean, I share on social media, and they claim that my brother and these Temple Mormons are doing everything they can to keep people here in America and around the world from knowing. But thank goodness for icing technology, because the fear of death and national security, I think, well, because that's what they kept scripting on my property, was people in dangers kept saying, national security, get national security. And then my brother using some kind of equipment, spoofing phones and keeping people from calling. And so he's claiming that he killed any CIA, FBI agent, official, that he's murdering anybody in the government, which was the same thing that happened in the 70s. The same exact script, where they claimed that anybody they would kill that would be the government. Well, the scariest thing is Social Security Administration's in Salt Lake City. Think about that. I mean, shouldn't that terrify people? It just pushed you through the algorithm. I came across you one day like 2 months ago, or maybe 3 months ago. Well, that's good. Well, hopefully it helps you. Is he protecting you in a way? I'm confused. Okay. Well, okay, so my mother, being a Temple Mormon, and being that my money in the augmented reality and the amount of money I had in the stock market and the amount of money I had available to me, I always believed was changing humanity, to save humanity. I believed that since 2019 that I was going to get my money, but I knew that they were investigating money over and over, another investigation. So for 48 years, it's been a consistent story of people investigating, just to find out now that, like, as long as the government continues to investigate, they never share the facts. So basically I get used. Like I listen to the audio 24/7 for 48 years, and then have to basically pretend like I haven't had access to information that later on you read the document, you're like, oh, that was supposed to be classified. Okay, so who am I then? Is there such a thing as classification of classified is my question then. If you're letting just anyone access people's minds in remote view. No, I don't think that, I don't know who's protecting me anymore. I was supposed to, the script was in 2019 when I was told that I would be getting my money and protected, that I would be having eight, well, I think it was originally 6 bodyguards, but then I changed it to be 8 people living in a castle. And then I was like, well, I have money, I'll have 8 bodyguards. And then I've asked since then, I paid the CIA retired person deposit that's supposed to be helping, I would hope, between Homeland Security and National Security and the Federal Trade Commission dealing with this in your mind technology, and hopefully my story going to the right places, because I keep tagging them in the algorithms. I tagged Biden, I tagged Trump, because I'm like, this should really help with understanding how the money's being stolen and how there's so much fakeness and facade of these fraudsters who steal people's identity. And when I'm on the phone with the bank or I'm on the phone with the utility companies, literally my own family members are taking my credit card, my debit card, and bragging about stealing my money. And I can't get it. I can't get them to stop. That's the point. I don't know how to get the help. I filed a complaint with the I called the Federal Trade Commission. I called and did in writing the FBI, and I already know that the FBI knows that I'm owed a lot of money. I believe that I know that they know I have to have a lot of money. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent me a letter stating that they were going back all the way to 2002 to a merger that I was a part of with the barter industry. And I never got money from that merger, not a penny. And so to know that at this point I'm being human trafficked by them continuing to just say they're investigating or not even speak to me at all and act like none of this is happening. It's great to call out people who are doing wrong, hold them accountable. Well, that's what I'm having to do now, but I'm afraid it's too late. I don't know. I fear my children's lives right now. And that's the reason why I'm like literally just, I feel like I'm still being held hostage right now in my mind. I feel like I'm being emotionally raped. I think the United States government needs to count this as terrorism. To have somebody come through your mind and listen to my brother's family members scream into a microphone in my ear, or claim that they're using a hearing aid and make like piercing sounds, but to show images of rituals of sacrificing and put them in your eyes, and knowing that they're on these dream machines where they create your memories, knowing that there's somebody who speaks and actually creates the words, but knowing that today when I was looking at my watch, totally wrong time, and then it brought me back in time to remember my grandmother and the discussion with my family members when I was young, being a part of this technology, is knowing that you have other people who used to be healthcare professionals, who used to be high up in the United States government in my augmented reality, that was a part of, I thought, saving humanity and making sure everyone was doing well. But all I've heard over and over now is how one person can just come in, pretend to be me, log in as me, and steal all my money. Is the craziest story of it all. See, right now, when you pause it, like a lot of times, like people have, these devices in, but I know that since the 70s, they've had it where I, turn the volume up, turn, the volume down, but knowing that there's people like I was told that Doris Johnson has the technology. So, being that she now has $6,000 almost of my money, I let her know she will be investigated and see what she does with this equipment. Because if she does have this equipment and they put her images of her mind in my eyes, and then, she doesn't help fix it to save my children's lives, I let her know what was happening. So if she doesn't use her testimony and about this technology, then what was the point? Because getting messages about a receipt about meditation and about crystals, I was like, hello, that's not the conversation. No, I did not pay for meditation. No, I did nothing to do with crystals. I don't even know what you're talking about. Sent me a receipt for that. I was like, $2,200 for that? I'm like, she had a document that said that she understood information that seemed like it would match up. And I knew that she had someone talking in her mind. And I asked for help accessing my money. Not so that the money I had would be taken by half within a few days. I mean, I've been using Uber for a couple years now in Hawaii and Colorado, traveling. I mean, I could have just gotten an Uber. Tell me that cost me $2,200 on my credit card. I'm not buying the story of all these stories that people are making up. Yeah, $2,200 is the agreement because I was supposed to. Now I told her that I didn't know how long I was going to stay in town. I told her my situation, and I was hoping that she was going to help me. And that was the goal. Was I really had high hopes that this psychic would utilize this equipment to help me to deal with this situation that's criminal of what's happening to me. But being that I have to only talk live, because I just, I don't trust now. If I got a receipt saying it was for crystals or something and meditation. I was like, what? No, that wasn't agreement. No, the total ended up being is under Zelle was 2,500, 501 transaction, 2,000 a separate transaction, and I had given her 800 in cash. And on the document, it said that I was going to pay her 2,200 for her assistance in helping me, which apparently means saying what I want help with doesn't seem to matter right now until I actually have the government or somebody investigate and do something with the situation, because I can't seem to get her to listen to what I say. I put it in writing. I said, I'm only going to deal with you in writing so she'll listen, and she wasn't listening. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not going to keep talking, communicating back and forth, because you're not listening to me. If someone doesn't listen. So what happened was, and I know they record through audio, so the government does and the NSA does. So I know that the government, the CIA and all that would definitely, and the FBI investigating my money, and I told her that it was all on the record, for the record. No one's recording when it comes to me. Okay, so what happened was the Zelle is, she said that one of the transactions didn't work. And why she did the $500 transaction, I don't know. Because she did one for $2,000 after the $800, which was still over the amount of $2,200. And then she took an additional $500 under Zelle. So it was $2,500 was still over the agreement because I gave her $800 in cash. And then I found out later when I went on my birthday on April 25th to use my card to pay for the rental, or to, I don't remember how it came across actually. Then I was checking to see if I needed to pay the balance. I'm not sure. But I found it on my birthday on April 25th that she somehow has some type of merchant account or something, based on what I'm understanding, that was able to put over my credit line. The credit line on that card was only $2,000, but she has a pending charge for $2,200, and she's refusing to reverse it. She's refusing to reverse it, even though she took $2,500 under Zelle. I mean, all I know is I can just call her out and literally say, okay, if you don't reverse this and do something, that extra $500 is one thing, isn't it? When you already had $800 in cash and you already have the $2,000 there, that's $2,800. But now you're adding the extra $500, you're adding an extra $2,200. I don't know. I don't understand how some people think they're going to get away with stuff. I guess we'll just wait and see. Time will tell how this is all turned out. Because it was supposed to be that it didn't go through. It was supposed to be that she said the Zelle transaction didn't go through. In what order she did the transactions is the question. Because why would she have even done the 500 if she did the 2,000? Then why would she did the 2,200 on my credit card if she already took 2,500 under Zelle? And why, if I gave her $800 in cash, why she even took the difference doesn't even match up to be what the contract was for 2,200. So no matter how you look at it right now, her reputation's on the line. She doesn't help me with technology and save my children's lives and help me with the United States government figuring this out. I'm not going to sit here and argue over meditation or crystals or fake receipts. This is about my life right now. This is about my life-threatening situation and technology. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But meanwhile, I have to worry about my children dying or being dead every second of my life. It's terrorizing. So I'm listening right now. I'm taking a break. I'm just paying attention to what you're saying, but I'm also, yeah, the government's always listening. Yeah, we have NSA that listens. They have it in Bluffdale. They have it in Utah, but they've done it. My mom worked for the profit by carrying documents. She hand carried documents around. How many children? Two birth children. Malia, who's 30, and then Sarah, should be 29. So both almost 30 are in their 30s. I mean, this September she'll be 30. She'll be 31 this July. So both of them by this year will be in their 30s. And you're doing too bad financially. It looks like you're a great place. Have a beautiful back. I'm using my house money. I'm attempting to figure out, well, because I haven't been able to get access to my actual other money. So this is just off of the property, which I luckily have, even though they threaten. Well, they've also logged into my Google Drive. It was the saddest part before my mom passed away. And I've heard that they did that to my daughter too, which I wasn't able to talk to my daughter about. So that's why I know something's terribly wrong with what's happening with my children, because I know that somebody had to have done the same thing, and whether she knows it or not, I don't know. But the way that when I saw my daughter last, she just wasn't speaking, and something's been really wrong, because when I go to speak, they just couldn't handle even talking. So that's why I'm just like having to put it live of everything, because I've barely spoken to them since 2019. And now with them saying that they are being held hostage, I need the government and I need an investigation to know whether that's true. They have to investigate, knowing that I'm saying I'm being held hostage and I've been held hostage. Thank you. Yeah, well, they're good characters. Both very, very good characters. I mean, both of them choose to do the right. We were raised Latter-day Saints, and we weren't Temple Mormons, but we were raised to do truthful, factual, to choose the right. And we were on a spectrum that we didn't spend our life pretending to be other people. I mean, I came up with characters for the movies. I script movies, I script characters. I mean, I play characters, but I'm not impersonating the dead. I'm not stealing someone else's identity. I'm not I'm not in any shape, way, or form attempting to manipulate anyone. Uh, I'm playing out roles that they take, and they have my whole life for film. My children, they do it for them too, because it's my augmented reality. It's part of the IT technology. Dancing, singing, and I don't know what they've done, but I do know that my daughter, around the same age, had the same capabilities to be able to produce, to be a producer by kindergarten. Uh, yeah. Well, that's what has to change. The proof of real identity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. Well, especially when the script for investigating is to do the opposite script, which is what currently listening to and understanding that the Latter-day Saints do is they say yes, but they mean no. They meet you and they greet you and they act like they're going to help you. But in the end, what they want is your house, your car, your money, and all of it. 100%. Because it's now been proven that that's what's really happening. Because what's happening to me. Otherwise, I would have a house. I would have my house. I would have my car registered. I would have my money. So it is proof then. Because to keep my mother alive, which has to be what's happening since December 5th, 2022. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the predicament that I'm in. So that proves the theory that the United States government has to do something about them pretending to be other people, wearing them, being proxies, and keeping dead people alive. It's very troubling. It is very troubling. Well, being that they want to kill anybody, it's not a Temple Mormon, then that's why I have to speak up, because you're in danger. So if you need to go, I can understand that, change your account, but it's not going to matter. They have a spy network. And in the end, what's going to bring them to come and do anything with you or anybody unless they have motive? I mean, literally, they're a people convenience, just like any thief. It's the convenience. They're going to find somebody online. I don't believe in go out of their way. I mean, so far, I am the person, and they haven't gone out of their way to be able to kill me yet. They threaten it. It keeps threatening it. Why aren't you dead yet? A law of extinction, law of vengeance, all hands on deck, ordering everybody around. But so far, only thing I hear is about how William Sheppard Jr., I hear is his voice claiming that he's not going to be a happy man until he kills my children. And he will not be a happy man until he kills me, his sister, legally, Susan Sheppard. But the most disgusting thing is him pretending to be my husband. I have no desire to have sex with my illegal brother that I literally disowned because he disowned me. He chased me from the hospital. I know he was involved with having that fake person who did a fake ceremony over my mother. Because you're going to tell me he's supposedly a real Latter-day Saint. Not only don't trust the government. No, I'm not married. Well, I mean, it's hard to explain because I met somebody and they were supposed to be that we were married, but I don't know. The story is very confusing, and the fact that people have died and given me their money is the story. Technically, whether they count me as married is the script. But for my brother to be investigated since 2002, for him to claim me as his wife in order to have money for his wives and children. But to know that his children have been impersonating and pretending to be my children, identity fraud for sure. So that's a pretty sick script for me. But yeah, I had someone who I believe gave me the world. I do believe that by 2019, there was somebody who said that I was his wife. And that's the problem with this country. How do I prove that? I don't. See, I, I don't know. I do know that he loved me and he wanted to fix what was happening to me. And if he was still alive, I shouldn't live in fear right now. Thank you. I get a virtual hug. Did he pass away? Well, that's the hard part in my life is when someone passes away, there's no system to know. The game, especially a suicide game, where people pretend that they're dead and they move on to somebody else. It's, it's a storyline. The Latter Day Saints, they're in a relation. Well, because when I was young, my dad left, and he was dead. I didn't know if he was ever going to come back again, but the script is you say that they're dead, and then if they come back, then it's they took the money in a game. This is a hit game, I guess, because they tagged me as tagged me, uh, used me. The government got involved. A lot of people, they claim about half of Americans in 79 died. And that was at the point when I was told my father was dead. To now understand a little bit more of the stories and how they work. And he came back around by second or third grade, around second or third grade. And I was like, oh, he's alive. As far as I knew, he was dead. Oh, and then, by the time it got a little later, when my mom got remarried, then he was alive again. So he showed up again. But I mean, it's been a business relationship with my father. He's a brilliant man. So I mean, I've had a business relationship with him. I did move in with him when I was 15, I believe, on my mom had full custody. She had put me as a runaway. I attempted to have a safe place, which what my father gave me. It was a safe place to be, so that way I could have a good school and education. And I felt like that, you know, I've always felt like he was a pretty upstanding guy as far as I know it, up until, I mean, everything I had seen up until that time. I mean, I think my brother has people impersonating him. I think my brother pretends to be him. I think he has some bishops and other people who've spent their lives pretending to be my father, because some of these things are just so out of character for who I see my father being. But I've always had just really a business relationship. Because when I say I love you, he doesn't say I love you back. There's very few times in my life my father's ever said he loved me back. Well, because he's really done anything for me financially. Mm-mm. No, not that I can think of really. Well, Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just it. Is maybe they have. I mean, I don't know. Did he get the machine back? I mean, you're claiming that he wants to kill my children now over a machine. I mean, then he did help me, but then it's like, is it Janine? And they're claiming it was my money that she took. So, like, I don't know the whole story and understand the whole thing. All I know is that there's been these investigations my whole life when he was a Mormon. He he was supposed to be a prophet, according to my mother. He was supposed to be a higher up in the hopes of, because it's all about the money, that he's a good entrepreneur. And I think that the minute they realized they could have access to whatever money, from what I understand, was mine without my father, I'm sure they chased him away, uh, because they like to have control. But yeah, I was raised Mormon. So I grew up Mormon. Yeah, I grew up LDS. I don't know why they want to change it from not being Mormon, because it's called the Book of Mormon. Um, I don't know, spent so much money, from what I understand, on campaigns. And I do know that in 78, that I was told in the investigations that it was my money that they used to reprint the 1978 Book of Mormon. And it was a big deal because me being with my mom, and even though she was now single, she was seen more like a widow. And so, this is okay to be a widow. You live in northern Utah. Oh, is that right? It's beautiful there. Yeah. I spent half my life, more than half my life there. I was born. I was born in Fillmore. The history of Utah, and believing that the saints, latter days, was supposed to save humanity. That's been the script for 48 years that I believed until my mom died. Until my mom died, and my brother has gone completely insane. Uh, no, I mean, I really always was on my mom's side, to believing that she was the better mobsters, the better mafia in this whole organization of cults, um, because we're tied into other cults. You can't be an organization with the amount of money and things happening without, and everything's been bankrupted for everybody. That's the pretty woman story we live in. Yeah, Utah's beautiful. A bot, botanist. I love flowers and plants, botany. My daughter is big into that. She'd like the doing things. Yeah, botany. Well, I think the point with this technology was the fact that someone like my daughter, who had a brain injury herself, she ended up getting degrees, I mean, being able to be a school teacher and continuing her education. And that's proof of technology, and having great teachers, and persistent, and the character to do whatever it takes. And my daughter Malia too. I mean, be a young person to work at a technical college helping other students. I lost my mom in 2014. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Your mom, huh? Hmm. Never really prepared for that. That's for sure. I mean, uh, yeah, sorry for your loss too. December 5th, 2022. So it's already been a while for me not to have my car registered. Uh, the email I got from my brother, and not going through probate, not having any response from John Buckley, the person who helped with the will, finding out that Utah doesn't have a will registry. I don't know what happened to you and your story in Utah for your mom passing away, but it's very concerning that we have a system that at every level is corrupt. At every level. I mean, you don't know who's real. If you're going to have someone talk in your mind that's wearing you, You should have proof of identity. It's just like being able to talk and know that the person gets paid for their time, that the person is not abusing people. But the threats that all these people are on the property claiming to be horrible people is what's scary. Is they say that they want to virtually kill people, and they don't care that little babies are listening to them scream and yell and pierce people's hearing. So I don't know whether if you're in Utah, more than likely your mom would have possibly been a part of it, because it's been happening since the 70s. It's the secret that people know that we can't talk about. But to me, to be told that after my mom's funeral that my brother wanted to diagnose me with, not being a medical professional, with schizophrenia, which he's the one using this technology, that's criminal right there. No, like that's a lawsuit right there. No, it needs to be. If you use technology to come through someone's mind and then threaten to diagnose them with something, that's emotional rape to me. Oh, my mom didn't leave me anything, and that's okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, most people, I don't know what the odds are with a whole lot of people getting a whole lot when someone passes away, and I don't know either. I mean, unfortunately, right now, with the percentage, they're saying like 70% of the housing market having issues. Not, I mean, in a few states, but looking at the tax problem alone, 54% with the percentages right now, looking at the tax problem, where they literally are making it where who could have a whole lot of inheritance. That's the real question right now. I'm reading all these articles of all these people who all claim they have all this money, and I'm like, really? Okay. Well, I'm sure they're going to find out and see. Otherwise, we'll have to fix it and see how to fix this, because otherwise, that's all fake. Because I tell you right now, if I don't have my money, then how do they have theirs? But that's sad that you didn't get left anything. It's sad that we have so many people living in poverty, and that we have a system that, instead of making sure and ensuring that there is no poverty, and if I get my money, that's what has to happen. We should no longer live in poverty. I'm demanding that they do pay. The IRS must give that 11,000. They said that they would do 11,000, $1,111.11 or something, all ones. Well, you need to. You can't just keep taking, and never give back. I think that people should give their assets to people they want to have them while they are alive and living. It causes too many issues with everyone after they pass in person. Yeah, and it's so hard on me, because my grandma was the same way when I was visiting. She wanted me to go through stuff, and I had a hard time. My other grandma was the same way, and I just couldn't handle it. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. Emotionally, while they're still alive, take from them, uh, and the guarantee that I would get whatever they had anyway is proof it didn't matter anyway. Because everything my mom wanted so bad for me to have, I don't believe I'll ever have her wishes of what she did care so much about. There was only one item from my grandma I wanted, and they claimed that my brother shattered it. My moon rock that I was given a piece of the moon, they claim my brother trashed it, ruined it. I mean, there's very few things, some gold cutlery that I bought my mom. He supposedly damaged. I mean, it's anything sentimental is not going to matter. I mean, if you got somebody who, anything that means anything. I mean, she gave me her buttercup ring. He didn't allow my daughter to go to the safety deposit box. It was set up for my daughter, and he did not. Him and his wife demanded the key, woke me up out of bed, standing over me was like, "Where's the key?" I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm seriously afraid for my life right now. Yeah. I love moon water. Oh, yeah, that was good. I went to the yeah, to NASA, to the space station, and I got the purple, the purple tin can moon water. Mm, that's got to be the brand. That's what it said on it. It's amazing, powerful. Yeah. Well, I have liked that I've been attempting to utilize good water. I think that water's a very important thing. I do know that in the 70s, my money, I was told, went towards water rights and energy and helping um, keep the lights on. So I know that the Latter day Saint Church and all those temples and buildings and money of mine went. And then I was told that in other countries, for them to have energy and housing and clean water. So that's why I'm at this stage. It's time for Americans and here in America for humans and beings. Why leave animals in filth? I mean, to shut off and play this game with utilities. But now to find out that by them paying utilities the way they're doing it, it's causing the housing market and the amount of taxes. They tax, 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 tax. So they just need to make it free. That's the only way I see in the system to do it, is just pay direct. So that way there's just no bills for gas, electric, water, and trash. There's just too many properties right now that are in shambles, despair, and all this. And to know that organizations of nonprofits and even the United States government has taken, and they've proven it, my money to pay for all that. But to continue saying you're investigating, well, I don't even have my own property to be in. They claim that I am, but prove it. Yeah, short-term rental. You haven't proven anything's mine anymore. And as long as you don't prove that it's mine, I can't prove that you have anything. Then you keep everything as fraud. No, he said he was my he said I was his wife. Yeah, he did. He was above everything. Someone reached out to me, sent me a phone number, and I waited 3 years for him, and then I figured he must be dead. This is 3 years. So, but he said that I was his wife. So they must have murdered him. Something not simmering. Wouldn't it be nice if you could actually speak with the president, he actually listen, actually do simmering about issues? Um, yeah, well, it's interesting. I don't know, is it? I mean, if I could prove and they could prove stuff, um, it'd be great to have a conversation because then it'd be empowering. I'm not one for, I mean, the reason why I haven't spoken and said a lot of this stuff, because unless it moves the conversation forward and it gives people power, I don't like to give people hopes up or make up stuff or just randomly talk about whatever their people said this, they said that. Like, I'm not into the gossip. I'm not into, like, unless now I feel like it's imperative to our life situation. Then, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing is, based on what's happening, but like in a short amount of time, how quickly can you assess the situation except what I put in documentation? And unless people get him to know the right information of what's happening. But the most important thing is access to my money so that way, uh, well, yeah, the president of the United States should be able to fix things then. And not only that, but I think that Trump and it would make it a fair voting system, because I think a lot of things we've scripted, the people who are being human trafficked that have worked their lives in this system, not getting paid, can finally get paid. But I think we'd have the strongest government uh, ever in any augmented reality. That's the goal of having an augmented reality, was this part of this experiment was how to create a government in a system that protects the people, protects us, and we can have the best life possible. Is there not a prison over the trust? Oh, person over the trust. Well, you could speak with them to get your money. Well, I actually have been. I mean, I sent right from the beginning. I actually called the attorney, John Buckley, and told him that I would be documenting my story, that I expect one day a news crew will be showing up, that I'm going to have an attorney to deal with the abuse of what's happening with my brother. I keep, just all I could do is notify him. I tagged him in the one with the judge recently over this car situation, so that way he understands that by him helping create a trust, and not helping me to get access and fix it. I mean, the fact that the United States government doesn't have a law or something that, because there's no money owed on it, that a bank isn't responsible. I mean, who we need to find is responsible for doing things and getting stuff done is what has to change. I think that's the problem with the situation, is if we don't use it, all these investigations and all these things of my story, to just fix it, what's the point? Like, I don't see the point in the drama and the gossip back and forth, when to me it's a matter of, we scripted in the story of that this now is a problem, so now you have to create to fix the problem. Because if you make it where people can't register a car, but then they have to go and drive a car in order to go register it, first thing, you're making people break the law in order to follow the law. How are you following the law if you're making someone break the law? Yeah, I can't prove that something's mine. I mean, I told the bank when I was payable upon death at me as beneficiary, I asked them, and they said that, it was fully paid off. That says right on the title that it, still with my mom's name on it. But if you don't have any type of automatic system that when someone passes away, it automatically does create those wishes, and they are in a system. You don't have any type of registry that's across the board. This playing with states, it's almost like it is a different country. Like, it doesn't matter the laws in this state, doesn't matter the laws in that state, the minute you're in a different town. I mean, I called my brother's town where he lives, and I said, I believe that he wants to murder my children, and you're going to have to call the local police near you. I'm like, no, I want you to go and talk to my brother and put this on file. And I asked them to call my daughter, because I'm like, I'm terrified that my brother's going to kill my children. I didn't see your judge video. They didn't let me, so it's only through iSeeing technology that is used all around the world. So the people who can watch me through eyesight technology and through my phone. Well, because I gave permission for anything to go viral. So the people from any of these apps, I have people I know from all different parts of the government that was given money, part of these different mobs and mafia and cults. I'm at the very top. So they were given money to protect me. And so I'm hoping that, even though you don't see any numbers there, I know that who's in my mind are people from around the world who are the leaders. So why the President of the United States wouldn't know, I have no idea. what happened with your car? Um, so I got a restitution order. How that happened, I don't know. The will or the state documentation my mom put that was put at America Federal Credit Union stated that I had 2 years before I had to even decide what was in the house. My brother was able to get a judge, Judge Faust, which I turned in to be investigated because he ruined my life. And I have to hold him accountable for being in the situation. They said that he has participated in fraud, and now that's just somebody saying that and is creating an investigation. So, I mean, I have no idea other than the fact that he was not given the proper information is the only thing I could document. Is obviously there's something wrong with the situation to create a restitution order when I was supposed to be able to live there for 2 years without a problem. I don't see your yeah, so the judge video should have streamed live uh, around the world. Yeah, should have. What happened when you got? Well, to the right people. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I did see you get pulled over by that. Is that what you're talking about? He does know. Well, you would think, because in my lifetime I've had uh, Secret Service and the government having to protect me in my lifetime. So I don't see why. It's hard for me to believe that my brother, William Sheppard Jr., would be able to overtake Mormonism, the cult, the mobsters, the people who do the murdering, but the part that does the torturing and the tormenting. Uh, but to know that there's other cults involved that again, it's my augmented reality, so I'm the person in charge ultimately, and with at the moment no power, and other than getting someone to fix everything, and right now they're doing everything they can to ruin it for everybody and human traffic us all, everybody, while they're fighting over money 24/7. I mean, just Social Security alone should show you how the United States government uh, is willing. I mean, look at Human Services. Well, the story with that was crazy too. They keep the difference in people's child support. It's human trafficking, in my view. I never signed a document to let them keep money and expect me to keep a lower amount. I mean, if you get put down in this game and they bankrupt people and they make it where you're homeless and you're carless, and uh, someone else can say that they want $30 in child support, and then after 7 years pretty much got less than $30 in child support, then that's proof that someone's able to create the system and rig it if someone did in fact, and they did. Yeah, I do see you get pulled over. Oh, okay, yeah, that was good about that. I was able to videotape about me getting pulled over because it documents me letting the police officer know I was held hostage, and my story. Because right now, the story doesn't matter, and that's the sad part. Your story doesn't matter that I got evicted by a restitution order that I believe was fake. That what one thing creates the next thing creates the next thing. So in the end, if you see all these people sitting in prison over their life being ruined because someone targeted them and wanted to ruin their life, and now they have no plan of a way out. With them same technology, I guess you should have others your kind. No, all I've ever done is document everything. Yeah, it's extremely important. But also the fact that everything I've had is stolen or gone my whole life. They cover. I'm a cover up. This, yeah. So but I do the best I can. It's been in my script of my character to do the best I can to document everything. Well, they believe that that's what they do. The Latter-day Saint Spy Network that's what they do. They cover everything up. That's their job, is to utilize technology to to make it so that way they get everything. Because they're supposed to be, I thought, according to my mom and I, saving everybody. But now the script is only Temple Mormon. So that's why it's concerning now. Do I have any friends? No, that's why I put online that currently, I mean, the friends that I would say that I have, I wouldn't want to say that I'm close to anybody because I don't want them to die. Because currently my brother, I think he killed my husband. And he wants to kill my children. He claims he wants to kill anybody. That's no comment. I mean, he literally has said that. He wants to make sure that I have nobody. It's extremely important. I mean, old school, you used to journal to share your, yeah. And you realize, well, like when you're journaling, the whole point of journaling is the remote view, which is interesting at the same time because somebody else reads it and then they're listening by audio. So not too many Mormons knew about the remote viewing, and I hadn't shared until recently. So I don't believe that a lot of the top leaders in the Latter-day Saint Church knew about remote viewing through eyesight and being a walker projector. Because when I shared to my brother about me being a walking projector, it didn't seem like he really believed it. But people in Hollywood, well, yeah, all the greats of people in Hollywood. Yeah, they have it. It's a part of the technology of Hollywood. A doll and a toy. So I don't know of any Latter-day Saints that are dolls or toys. No, because they would have had to be in a different script. You cannot be a Temple Mormon and be a doll and a toy. There's just no way possible. No, not in the script. No. He would know nothing about, a Temple Mormon would know nothing about being a toy or a doll. No. I know that's, I'm not going to argue. Whoever's wanting to argue about that. I mean, you know nothing about Hollywood on that spectrum. I know you don't. Yeah. So journaling, yeah. Well, being raised Latter-day Saint was a big deal. Was journaling your story, telling your story. But what they do is they attempt to gaslight and attempt to change people's stories. So part of documenting your journaling is they have someone else falsify your own memories. And that's the hardest part to know. Oh, why can't they know? I'm just curious. Now you can electronically document it. I know, but they also erase everything. So they listen, and when you're talking on the phone, they take your debit card, your credit card, any of your passwords, your birthday, that's why it's all a facade. That, like LifeLock, I'm paying $30 a month, and I have to prove that I'm having identity fraud in order to get reimbursed or finding an attorney. I called LifeLock and I'm like, where's an attorney? I need representation. And they're like, well, you kind of have to find and prove to me. And so, okay, so I've got to basically keep figuring out how to go about this. Otherwise, I'm paying $30 a month that I was hoping I would be able to protect my own children. But being at this stage, I got ran off out of my property that I should have been living in while I was figuring all this out. But instead, I was dealing with 24/7 of my brother and his family members wanting to impersonate me and my children and tying up the network to be terrible human beings 24/7. So I wasn't able to even go through the stuff in my mom's house. I mean, even when I wanted to start reading any documents that my mom left for me through remote viewing, the people would start commenting, making an issue about everything I look at. Even now, I can't even go sit at a pool without people sitting there talking and just saying things. I mean, it makes it so hard to know that for 16 hours a day, I lay with my eyes closed just so that I don't have to look at something, and they do it on purpose because then they can fake be me. And at this point, it's like it's really hard for me to feel comfortable just like going and doing anything fun, because every time I turn around, I do something that someone else has more benefit out of making a problem instead of helping me. And that's the saddest part, knowing that I literally am there to want to help them in the long run. Have I ever smoked weed? Yeah, I have in the past. I am not big into it. I did like gummies. I do believe that THC is definitely a really good thing. I feel like to me it should just be across the board as something, as a medical, just like at Walgreens or anywhere. I think it's something that you should be able to get THC or CBD combination, either one. Smoking it, that's a different thing. But I do know that it helps with people with cancer, and that people who are pregnant have had to use vaporizers and get a prescription for it, and as an alternative to deal with cancer while pregnant. So, I mean, I know that there's a lot of theories to it, but the fact that I did vape on April 8th, and I don't really have done that much of the internal, but it's good for cleansing the lungs. So, I mean, I haven't really done much of it. I preferred to eat it and coat it with my throat and put the tinctures in my lungs. I wonder if gummies would help calm their voices. Um, it's technology, but I do know that who and what you take, like with water or with prescriptions, or it was supposed to be the plot line of the movie that we're in, is that people who like a product reimbursement almost. I don't understand the system enough to understand, but I do know that they create diagnoses and they give you symptoms in order to create the diagnoses to justify a prescription. So it only makes sense to me that products like a certain water taste difference, that they could change the frequency, and the fact that with the technology of frequency of healing properties, that I think it would be even great. Like if you stayed at a certain place, that you stay at a hotel, that when you sleep, they should be able to utilize the technology to make sure you have a great dream, make sure you got good sleep. You should be able to choose your life story and say, I want this at this time, I want that at this time, and be able to have what you want. I mean, at this point, the technology exists. There's no reason why a system couldn't be in place to make it so that way, if you're into a certain gummy, because I do know that certain THC strains gave you different types of feelings. And I do know that, like you're saying about the voices in your head, at one time, the system before my mom passed away, when I lived in Colorado, was more regulated to control the voices. But since then, I believe there's a lot of medical professionals that are criminals, and unfortunately cons. That I think that the fact they would cure cancer, and I believe they did, and to cover that up, I think the fact that they would be willing to kill me and my children instead of just making it where I had access to my money and changing the world. Why that would make it too easy, wouldn't it? I actually understand what you're saying. Water tastes so metallic to me. Mm-hmm. I enjoy indica. It gives me energy, and later it helps me relax and sleep. Also helps with pain. Yeah. Well, my daughter, NOCO Animal Care. I mean, I just loved her products. I think that she makes it with hemp, but I know that together we had bought and made some pain cream. I think when I went to the doctor with her, she talked about, I believe, indica was what helped with the pain. Was indica strain. Yeah, I understand you want to be alert. Um, I actually thought that some of the strains of THC, in fact, made me more alert. Um, I think that because it's a machine and technology that can make you where you are more alert or not alert, it's technology. I think that at this point you have enough people that all been tagged at a certain point, and how many tags you have and how that works, I don't know. But I gotta say that the voices you have in your head and the rules, you're not supposed to talk while driving. You talk while I'm talking. Like right now, I have someone right now. It's just rude. It's rude. They know it's dangerous, and they're not following any rules. Uh, well, if they just got everybody off my property, where the main technology is, um, that want to hurt everyone and ruin everything, then yes, the machine would decide everything to fix everything. It's already been scripted for everything to be fixed. The problem right now is we have people who call themselves antichrist. They call themselves bitches, witches, and um, the devil. And they have an oath they claim to destroy. And that's all they say they want to do. They say that that's all they'll ever do. And unfortunately, because of that, they go on the system of this machine and they damage humans and just any being, because we got tagged animals, and they literally are so disgusting is the word, disgusting, that they would torment uh, children, babies, make them scream. Uh, yeah, tormenting and haunting, and they brag about it. And that, to me, that's just sick. Yeah. So the machine, yeah, the machine decides, and in the end, hopefully one day, we have never again a person who calls themselves horrible people over technology or utilizing technology to uh, ruin our lives. Well, I know for sure that my children are good machinery, their brains. Being tagged into the technology of Malia or Sarah, it would be life changing. Their thought process and who they are, their genetics have been used for a cancer cure. Uh, they're brilliant. They're a part of the IT technology. They're part of scripting the future to save our lives. So I'm terrified for them when people don't know their value, that they're so valuable to the plot line of saving our lives. Mm-hmm. Right. This machine decides, and then mm-hmm. Technology. Yeah. Well, you look at people who can become so capable and able at this point. Why would we have anyone who's disabled when we've already proven since the 80s that you can make anyone capable and abled? Well, me in the 70s. I mean, to now realize that once again, exposing in a whole different atmosphere of having brain damage. I mean, having a hoe cut my head open and have an injury here, an injury there, an injury right there. I mean, I was held hostage. I've got cuts all over my body. And to know that technology can clear your mind, rewrite your story. You wake up every day, it's a new day. You look forward to having fun. Personality that's about having a great life. Every script that I could ever imagine, I'm thankful that I got this script. I wouldn't want to live the life that so many other people live. I'm glad that I got a good character. I'm glad that I got two children with great character. Yeah. I know that I would always know that they would do the right thing for what they would need to do. They would never intentionally do anything to harm intentionally. Now, to know that we have people like that that are trained that way, but that they brag about it and they get profit off of it, but they want to make money at training new people to be like that. That was something my mom would never understand either. That's why I know that this is something wrong with this whole storyline. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry too. Well, it's like sorry, not sorry, but are you sorry? I mean, I am sorry, but it's so hard to say sorry because it seems so empty. I've always had a hard time with the word sorry because it's like, how much meaning can I put behind sorrow, sorry, if I have no way to back that up? So it's like you're not really sorry if you say you're sorry because then it happens again. But like if you had nothing to do with it, then it's easier to be like, okay, I can say I'm sorry back because life's a boomerang. It's like understanding and kind of conceptualizing the word sorry. But I put such deep meaning to it when it's something close to somebody that you're like, I'm sorry, but then you're like, it kind of like got burnt too much on that. Sorry. And then you did it again. Sorry, did it again. And then you're kind of like, I don't like the word sorry because it's like, you're going to do it again. Uh, how often does these voices talk to you in your head? 24/7 for 48 years, my whole life. Yeah. It used to be that they were medical professionals, people from around the world. They were people, I believe, that I was a part of saving humanity, a part of investigations, a part of fixing things. Uh, the current people on this equipment, unfortunately, since my mom died, and even right before she died. In fact, since Mother's Day, I'd say Mother's Day of 2019, before Mother's Day, uh, I realized I was in a bad situation. Something terribly happened around then uh, because they started threatening me and threatening to kill my mother and my children. So I think knowing that I had so much money coming to me, maybe from this investigation from the FBI about my money, made it where the people who came on my property became more and more terrorizing. In my entire life, it's never been to the point like it was. I mean, I in my entire life hadn't dealt with it like it is in the current state. I mean, watching as they destroy technology. I mean, these are people who are ruining the machine. They're they're bragging. These voices are bragging about literally laughing at watching people and saying they're going to virtually kill people virtually, and then laughing and happy that they're murdered and celebrating watching someone be cut, talking about cutting people's fingers and saying, here's a tip. And you're like, you're sick. And imagine they claimed that was a celebrity. And she put her finger right in my eyes and said that she wanted to steal my children's inheritance. And that was a celebrity. And then now they claim she was successful. So at this stage, if nobody holds anyone accountable and they go on technology and they put in their eyes, their fingers, their face, how can anyone, with everyone watching me through my eyes technology, ever deny that they saw that? And that you would ever not have ruined your reputation for people seeing that. How many different voices are there? yeah, my mom. Yeah, my mom felt endangered by the end. And it was hard because I knew she had, well, she wasn't allowed to talk about it. That's why I want to change it. It's sad to know that she might, yeah, that she's being abused and she couldn't talk about it. It's gaslighting, and it's gaslighting people, and this storyline of being gaslit is so terrorizing to know that you're sitting there at a table and there's other people, and why everybody wouldn't be able to know, and why you can't make it when you go to a restaurant, that you're a part of an experience, that experiment of that experience gives you the best experience possible, that you literally know your minds are going to turn on, you know you're going to have a great conversation, you know the script, that it's going to turn out right. This yeah. Um, so there's no denying that if they see it. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the people who are utilizing this technology around the world, who are the leaders of, I believe, movements and cults around the world, will definitely know who these people are, because they do have the technology and they do see their faces. So they, I believe, have access to my money. I'm hoping that they'll be able to hold them accountable. Because if we can't here in America, I'm hoping that now that they realize them taking credit for killing my children, that uh, they will kill them. Because here in America, we just let them keep killing, raping, torturing, and murdering. So far, that's been the script for 48 years. Uh, that's why the LDS was supposed to make sure that they got rid of the bad ones, not the good ones. And the current script is they're getting rid of angels and the good ones. And that's what's scary. Because it's my children who I know wouldn't do anything wrong. And that's who all of these people are claiming that they're killing. They must die then. Because that means they know that they're killing somebody because they're good. And because they're factual. Because they're truthful. Because they want things to turn out right. That's why somebody taking credit for killing my children would be someone who has an oath to kill angels, good ones. Targeted individuals, yeah, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah. Well, that's the part. The point with this whole situation is knowing that I'm targeted, knowing that my children are targeted because of their worth. And the more you're worth in this country, the more they want you to think you're worthless. The more they want you to think you have no money, you have no say, and they make sure and ensure that they keep you that way, is why I think right now the people who are on disability or Social Security Administration have a real story, because they're keeping them from sharing it. And they've been targeted. I mean, they're the working poor. I mean, no one in this country, they allow you to really retire. How can you retire when you got people in your mind taking up your mind? I know of a guy here on YouTube. His name is Mike. And he is a target individual. Really? Should put his link in here. Then I can go on my phone later and I get off here. And the government is always doing things to him. You know, here's the scary part, is they're impersonating government right now. The government, well, my brother claims he killed the CIA, FBI, and he's impersonating. My brother is wearing a uniform for the person at the very top, who, one of the people, one of the husbands that I know in the script of my life, was a very important person. And I do believe that I've seen images that my brother is wearing his uniform, and he was at the very top of the government. And so we have impersonators right now, because my brother is impersonating him. So yeah, so if you're getting targeted and you think it's from a government agent, it's in question right now. If my brother, and I do know he is doing that, he's faking being a medical professional too. And that's scary. And you don't have true identity of people's real credentials. Like cutting people up and torturing them, go into a hospital and you have a whole wing. You show up to a hospital and you end up hostage in a hospital. That happened to my grandmother. She was a part of the heritage of the Latter-day Saints. She was a Temple Mormon. They abused her and they tortured her. In the Latter-day Saint hospital for money. Oh, is that right? I'm cutting out. Okay. Well, I've been on here a while, almost 200 minutes. 150 minutes. I'm surprised you've stayed on here this long, angels. Government actually stalks it. Yeah. Yeah. And how do you prove that it's the government? But yeah. I mean, you got to remember, but in my story, the Latter-day Saints, since the 70s, are the government because they're intertwined. And at any time you go anywhere and they're wherever you go. But I also know that people who are not LDS can do the same thing. Just like on that cop video of getting the car registration. That live on the wire, people could hear that he was told to pull me over. So they haven't discussed that yet. But my brother, they claim it was him, put in the system about pulling me over and that he put a hit on me and that it's money in it. So we'll see. It's all just more investigations that hopefully will lead to something. Because if you don't fix stuff, what's the point? The government actually stalks him. Yeah, it's a game. Whether they're really the government or not. It's a game. It's a game to haunt people. It's a haunting game. It's a mind experiment. It's how well you can handle the mind game. The saddest part to know is if you don't know that it's a game. And that's the saddest part for me, is I never explained to my children the mind game. I never asked them about if they were stuck in a game. I never went into any of it. Like literally, they didn't never communicate with a lot of stuff. I didn't communicate stuff with them. I didn't share stuff with them. I never told them a lot of this stuff. I kept them out of all of it. I thought I was protecting them. There's also another guy named Tyree. There's quite a few targeted individuals that come on social media or try and document their story. Finally, you are buffering. I couldn't hear you. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're hearing me. Yeah, I went on Read It, and I have a problem with the technology that when I go to post stuff, I was getting messages from Read It from people who were targeted, and I understood that Morgan and Morgan, supposedly based on the feed on Read It, was going to be a part of a lawsuit to deal with utilizing this technology to haunt people and follow them around and ruin their lives and target them, because it is real. I think that the minute that you pay people who are on disability or Social Security, which by the way I'm not, I'm not on any assistance. I put NA. No, because I'm a machine. I'm a part of the machine. I'm a part of the technology. So now it's time for them. So they have to be accountable. So the government must now be accountable. If you touch my name on the screen, there will be 3 dots. Touch the word moderator, and I can do their links if you want. Now, moderator, though, I think that makes it where you start to add people in. as add a, oh, I think I remember this from can manage block words and change chat modes in live, and also his capabilities standard managing moderator can review and remove chat messages or hide or put users in mute. Can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live, and also has capabilities of standard moderators. Is that for just this conversation? I'm not familiar with how that works. You can't put the link in a put the link right in here because I don't have anyone else commenting to do anything to do with comments. Put the, I don't understand what you're talking about. Add a moderator. Okay, let me read what you're saying again. Okay, because I haven't Googled and understood about the moderators yet. I know that when I was doing Be Royal, I was learning how to do some of this stuff. I can't do the link without a wrench. Drop. Moderators means that if someone came in and were being mean, I could block them. It's okay, no worries. Yeah, I don't want you to get involved with like having to deal with people harassing you and all that. Like I don't know. Like to me, I wanted to pay to have an actual person who helps with this technology to do that type of stuff. So like if we had a conversation back and forth, my email or by sending, and I don't know how to do that. Like I don't know the rules of what you can do or not do to make it where it stays alive and you actually recommend. That's the thing. See, like I don't know, like if you know them, why you can't hit share and tell them about me, so that way I can coordinate. Because the thing is, I paid this spizzy, and in the end, like I have all these viewpoints on a video, but then it didn't really make it where I had it go to the right people. Like to me, it's more important for me to pay for my story to get to the right people that can do something to fix it than it is for me to talk about it. Like I am documenting, like doing this all for investigations to figure out how to get it to the right people, so that way the people who need to know about it hopefully will get to the right people. And they're supposed to be paying for my videos to go live. They're supposed to be getting paid. There's supposed to be money around the world for people to take and be able to have for my story to go live and to be created to make this documentary to save our lives since 2019. So the fact that I haven't had access to pay people and get the right people to help me with this technology is the problem. It also helps me to share your stream. You're fine, no worries. It doesn't matter. I was just telling you why I can't drop the link. Okay. I don't trust people. Hard thing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I trust my children with anything and everything, and yet I didn't tell them. It's protection. It's self-protecting. When I feel like I'm responsible for hurting anyone, especially my own children. So I got sunscreen all over me. I get sunscreen in my eyes. Well, thank you, Angels Asylum. I appreciate you commenting. I hope that the people on I'm supposed to have all this YouTube money that's supposed to pay to have people hopefully. I've commented on your video in the past. It's weird because I didn't see them. I guess I'll have to go back and look again. I'll try to drop their links in your comment section. All right. Thanks. All right. Love to you and all of you. I'm going to go take a shower. I got sunscreen all over me. There's a storm tonight, and hopefully this did something. I hope it did. I hope it did something to move the conversation forward in some shape, form, or way. All right. Yeah, 2 minutes, 200. 200. Okay. All right. Have a great night. All right. You too.